Hey Easy World, I am back with another video. Today I want to introduce Fleuron to you. This is a French brand that I discovered a couple months ago, and I bought this actually back in December, and they were doing a mini sale. So I didn't unbox it until now because I wanted to save something for the new year. I'm in sales. January and February are usually the most depressing months because if you are in sales, you know how this feels. You zero out, you start the brand new year at zero, and you have to work your way throughout the months, right? So I figured I would save this for January, February, where I'm working incredibly long hours and it's winter outside. I'm down here in Nashville, so the winters aren't as depressing, where it's 5 degrees out and you can't even go outside. So I figured this would be a really nice pick-me-upper for when I'm feeling a little bit down. Yes, you should not buy happiness, but this definitely does help. I will say that. This is not a true unboxing. I actually did a video on this where I did a true unboxing, and for some reason the video got corrupted, so I'm filming this again. And in the past couple of years, the big luxury brands or big luxury in general has been hiking up their prices so incredibly much that it's forcing us consumers who are handbag lovers and appreciate quality designs to start looking elsewhere, which is actually a blessing in disguise sometimes because there are a lot of indie brands out there that have quality pieces that we don't really normally pay attention to because we're so consumed by the big luxury. They do a better job at marketing. Of course, there's social media. So we tend to focus more on the major brands when there's a lot of great options out there. I know Polene is a really popular one and has been taken off in the past couple years. And I feel like Fleuron, which also started around the same time, has been flying under the radar. So I kind of want to just showcase other brands that are out there that we can all consider in purchasing and adding to our collection without breaking the bank. I think they have a really interesting story. They actually started back in 2020, and I know Polene started back in 2016. They were pretty amazing because they launched their brand in 2020 and they were able to open up their flagship store in France or Paris only in a short amount of time in 2021. I know they also have another pop up somewhere in Paris at one of the major department stores, but I think they really did do a good job planning because usually if you start a brand during COVID and then 2021 was still a mess, you would think most companies would just kind of take a halt and reassess to see if it makes sense for them to open a store, and they still did. So that I can definitely appreciate that and their business plan and making sure they still keep launching forward. Fleuron is representative of the nature, botany, as well as flowers. That's where they take their inspiration for. And that really resonated with me because during COVID, we all picked up new hobbies and whatnot. And for me, plants was my new hobby. I basically went to Home Depot and came back with a new plant. I did the whole IKEA cabinet hack and everything. So I was really into plants. I went from being a black thumb to being somewhat of a green thumb. And I'll show you a picture of my plant hoarding situation. Toby was not happy about it. So I will talk a little bit more as I show you the new goodie that I got. This is the mini Swann in the Pacific blue color. I thought this was an adorable piece that had a really minimalist, simplistic design that really spoke to me. And this is how they kind of explain it. This is the Swann, right? They have the mentality and philosophy of wanting to adopt a slow fashion that is sustainable. They want to design their bags for city dwellers. So it actually shows truth to that because this is a really lightweight bag. They source all of their leather using Belgian, Spanish, and Italian tanners, and they make sure that they abide by European standards, and they would only use rot-proof leather, and they would only use leather and skin and source them from tanners that don't use animals raised specifically for their leather. This is a vegetable tan leather, which is the oldest method and uses tanning barks, roots, and other animals. So there's no artificial, I guess the words, chemical processing. And it usually takes the longest to use this oldest and traditional method, which also ends up being the most expensive because of the time that is taking to tan this particular kind of leather. They also adopt the business model of direct to consumer, so they are not going to pay any markups to most department stores, I want to say, even though they do have a pop up. And they do list out on their website all of the costs of obtaining the materials as well as the cost of making this bag. They did have to raise their prices back in January of this year, 2023, because of inflation and the rising cost of materials. So I bought this bag for 345 euros. Shipping was free, and because back in December, the euro was still in parity with the US dollar, so it ended up being about $345 for me. Today, this bag sits at 395 euros, and I think the currency euros has bounced back a little, as well as the US dollar is weakening. So just to give you a quick tour of this bag here, these are, when the bag came, using Polene as a benchmark, we did not, I did not receive a box with this bag. It came very well packaged, but it did not come with a box, which is what Polene came with. I don't know if that's necessary, but if you care about having a box that comes with it, it does add a nice touch to it. But thinking about sustainability and keeping the cost down, that's probably why they didn't include a box. And all of these stickers, you can see the hardware were covered in stickers, which I already peeled them all off. And it's a really cool design. So if you look at this automatically snaps closed. The magnets are pretty strong. It easily snaps back in place. But this is a really small bag and it's very lightweight. You can see the bottom here. It's a pretty unique design. I do wish that it came with little feet, even though this mini crossbody bag probably does not. They probably didn't design it for you to put on the floor, but it would been a nice touch if they included some feet on the bottom of this. And then you can see the corners here. I wonder how this will wear in the future, but I'm touching the leather. It feels very high quality. All of the stitching here is very well done. There's no loose stitching or anything or any fraying of the stitching, so I do appreciate that. The top handle is very sturdy. And then taking a look inside the bag. Oh, it keeps wanting to snap close. So taking a look inside the back bag here. Here's the strap. Again, if you watch my last video of my top everyday bags, you can see this is my tendency. I gravitate towards bags that have a crossbody strap as well as a top handle. And the inside of it is just an empty space. They use a microfiber lining, which they call it breathable. I'm not sure what that means, but it's not leather in here. It is going to be a fabric material, which I understand it helps with the cost as well as the weight of the bag. And you'll see this is made in Italy. And this is just the card slot. The bottom is lined with a leather, same color as the outside, which I think helps with the structure of the bag. And I'm touching the bottom of the bag. There is pretty decent structure on there, whereas the rest of the bag, it's pretty malleable. On the back here, you can see there is a stitching here, which obviously is for the card slot in the inside of it. I do wonder why they chose to do this design, because they could easily have made this into a pocket or perhaps, do a double line stitching so that you don't see this line across, because I think this might be more uniform if we didn't see this particular stitching, or perhaps they just can turn it into something functional. Look at the straps here. I think this is a pretty cool design because This portion of it, if you don't want to use this bag as a top handle, you can actually take it off because this is a clip. It might be a little bit of a challenge, but you can pop this off so that it becomes a pure crossbody bag. I do recommend when you clip on the crossbody strap, you do it on the back side of the strap because then it will be more flush to your body as opposed to being in the front where it has to cross over the top handle and then it's not as flush to your body. And here is my staple, the dress up or the Dior cosmetic pouch. Can easily fit in here. I also have the dress up your purse card holder. Pop it right in there. And then here is an iPhone 10. So yeah, it all fits in there very easily with plenty of room. You can snap the enclosures together for more security, and then it becomes a little bit of a dumpling. Now let's take a look at the weight of the bag. I will tell you, this is a very lightweight bag. Let's tuck the straps in here. So this bag is only 12.8 ounces. Incredibly lightweight. So I can definitely see my shoulders not hurting. They also have other models that I thought were incredibly cute, and I think there's like 5 or 6 different models, and they're all named after some plant or something related to nature, so I thought that was really cute. The one I really enjoy looking at is the Peony. It's a really cute bag. I'm not really a hobo shoulder bag person, but I feel like if it's the same material as the mini Swann, where it's very soft and malleable, it might be easier for me to access the bag. The reason why I don't like shoulder hobo bags is because the opening is usually really small and my giant ass hands has a hard time reaching in there. And it usually ends up scraping my hands, which I do plenty of damage to my own hands already. I don't need to add on to that. So that's something I might consider. And it's nice because it does come with a crossbody strap as well. They also have the Magnolia shoulder bag, which doesn't really speak to me. I understand the design of it, and it's really cute, but it's not really speaking to me. Their bamboo bag is just a regular tote. Doesn't speak to me either, just because it's like the north-south style where it's very tall. I feel like that's not very functional because if you want to put a laptop in there, it has to be stand straight up as opposed to laying it on its side, and it's just too deep for you to go stirring around in. Their Trinity bag is actually really cute because it's kind of like their take on a camera bag, so I do like that one a lot. And they also sell really pretty twillies or scarves, and they're not made in Italy, they are actually made in France, so I thought that could be a really good one to look at as opposed to Hermes, where you can easily tie it here and get a pop of color. They say you can also use it as a head wrap or headband, so that's kind of cute. So hopefully this was helpful and you are able to get some insightful review on a Parisian brand that is an indie brand. Again, if you are looking for alternatives to the big luxury brands, I think this is a great one to take a look at and consider, as they are in a decent price point for a quality bag. Like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. I want to cover topics that will help you adult easier. Life is hard. I want to help you save time and money so that you can live your best life and hopefully less than retail. See you next time.